What if I told you that time isn't real? Not just subjective or relative, but completely fabricated by your brain. Every decision you make, every regret you carry, every hope you hold for tomorrow depends entirely on believing time flows in one direction. But what if that's an illusion? What if past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, and your life isn't a journey from birth to death, but a complete, timeless structure that already exists in its entirety? By the end of our journey together, you'll understand why Einstein called time a stubborn illusion, and how that knowledge could transform your entire life in ways you can't yet imagine. Every morning you wake up feeling time has passed, with memories forming what you call your past and anticipation, creating what you perceive as your future. This sequential experience feels so fundamental that questioning it seems absurd. But modern physics suggests time may not be the fundamental dimension we experience. It might instead be an emergent property of the universe, a kind of cognitive illusion created by our minds to make sense of a reality far stranger than we can intuitively grasp. Understanding time's true nature doesn't just change physics, it transforms how you experience every moment of your existence. Let's start with what shattered our understanding of time. In 1905, a patent clerk named Albert Einstein published his theory of special relativity, which demolished the Newtonian concept of absolute time. Einstein showed that time isn't separate from space. They're woven together into a four-dimensional fabric called space-time. The shocking implication? Time passes differently depending on how fast you're moving or how strong the gravitational field is around you. Two perfectly accurate clocks will record different times if one is moving or in stronger gravity. This isn't a measurement error, it's a fundamental property of reality. Time itself is stretchy and relative. But here's where things get truly mind-bending. What makes now special? Physicists can't find anything in their equations that defines the present as unique or different from any other moment. If all moments in time exist equally in the mathematics, why do we experience just one moment as now? Why does time appear to flow? These questions have led many theoretical physicists to a startling conclusion. Perhaps all moments in time, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously in a vast, block universe. And our experience of time passing is merely how our consciousness navigates through this eternal, unchanging structure. Imagine stepping outside time, seeing all moments of your life simultaneously spread before you like pages in a book. Your birth, your death, every triumph and failure, every love and loss, all existing at once, each equally real. This isn't science fiction, but a logical extension of Einstein's relativity. From this timeless perspective, the universe resembles a cosmic film reel, with all frames equally real and permanent. The distinction between past and future becomes merely a matter of perspective, like the difference between north and south, not a fundamental aspect of reality. This view of time is called the block universe model, and it raises a profound paradox. If all moments already exist, complete with your decisions and actions, do your choices really change anything? Or are you just experiencing a predetermined path, like reading a book whose ending is already written? The physicist Brian Greene describes it this way: just as we think of all of space as being out there, we should think of all of time as being out there too. Your future exists as surely as distant places exist. You simply haven't experienced it yet. The strangeness deepens when we add quantum mechanics to the picture. At the smallest scales, time behaves even more mysteriously. In the famous delayed choice quantum eraser experiments, particles seem to change their past behavior based on future measurements. In quantum entanglement, particles separated by vast distances can influence each other instantaneously, seemingly ignoring time altogether. Theoretical physicist Carlo Rovelli suggests that at the quantum level, time might not exist at all. Events relate to each other without any inherent order. These discoveries force us to confront mind-bending questions. If time doesn't fundamentally exist, what happens to cause and effect, to free will, to the very concept of change? Perhaps consciousness itself creates the illusion of flowing time by stitching together static moments into a narrative. Neuroscientist David Eagleman's research suggests our brains actually process reality in chunks of time, creating the perception of continuity, much like how a film creates the illusion of motion from still frames. Time in this view is less like a river flowing and more like a book that consciousness reads page by page, creating the illusion of flow. This leads us to a revolutionary insight. Time might not flow. Instead, it might emerge from quantum entanglement between particles, including those in your brain. Recent theoretical work by physicists like Julian Barber suggests that what we experience as time is actually how we perceive correlations between quantum states. Each now is a configuration of particles, and what we call time is simply the relationship between these configurations. As Barber puts it, we're not moving through time. Time is created by the relationships between the different configurations of the universe. This means you aren't moving through time. You're a four-dimensional being experiencing your timeline slice by slice, like a person moving a flashlight along a mural in a dark cave, seeing only one section at a time. Your past isn't gone, and your future isn't unwritten. They're all equally real parts of your complete existence. The you watching this video is just as real as the you at age 5 or the you decades from now. From the universe's perspective, all versions of you exist simultaneously in the space-time continuum. If all moments exist equally, this raises urgent questions about how we should live. The decisions you're agonizing over may be like fretting about the plot of a book while reading it. The ending is already written, but your experience of discovering it remains meaningful. This doesn't necessarily mean fate is fixed in a simplistic way. Quantum mechanics introduces genuine uncertainty into this picture. Perhaps the block universe contains all possible timelines, with our consciousness somehow navigating through them. Does timelessness make life meaningless or infinitely more precious? If nothing truly passes away in an absolute sense, perhaps our experience of time is the universe's way of preventing us from seeing the complete picture at once. A cosmic mercy that allows us to experience wonder, surprise, and discovery. Maybe we're like characters in a novel who don't know how their story ends, and that ignorance is essential to the experience. As physicist Paul Davies suggests, the flow of time may be a mind-dependent construction, a product of the way our brains work as they struggle to make sense of a world in which moments are neither fleeting nor permanent, but simply are. Living as if time is an illusion could transform your relationship with regret, anxiety, and anticipation. Regret becomes less burdensome when you recognize your past isn't lost. It exists eternally in the space-time continuum. Future anxiety loses its edge when you realize that worrying about tomorrow is like worrying about a place you haven't visited yet. It already exists, complete with solutions to problems you haven't yet encountered. You could shift from time-bound thinking to timeless awareness, seeing your life as a complete work of art rather than an unfinished journey with an uncertain outcome. Imagine the freedom of releasing the burden of linear time, past regrets and future anxieties dissolving into a timeless now. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius intuited something similar when he wrote that time is a river of passing events and strong as its current. Perhaps he was half right. The events are real, but the river itself might be the illusion. You're not just passing through time, you're an integral, permanent part of the cosmic tapestry. Nothing you experience is ever truly lost to the past because the past continues to exist, just as real as this moment. Even with this new understanding, you'll still experience time's apparent flow. Our brains are wired to perceive reality this way, but now you can approach this experience with profound awareness of its deeper nature. Everything appears different. Moments aren't fleeting but eternal, preserved in the cosmic structure of space-time. What if you lived as though all moments of your life were equally real and equally important? Perhaps the purpose of life isn't to reach some future state of happiness or achievement, but to fully embody each moment of your complete existence, knowing that each slice of your timeline is an essential part of the whole. Time may be the greatest illusion we experience, not fundamental to reality, but created by our perception. Yet even as an illusion, it shapes everything about how we live. Understanding time's true nature might free you to live differently, with less regret about the past and anxiety about the future. In a timeless universe, nothing is truly lost. Every experience, every connection, every moment of joy exists eternally in the fabric of reality. The next time you find yourself rushing through life, remember that from the universe's perspective, you already have all the time there is. Perhaps enlightenment is simply realizing what Eckhart Tolle meant when he said, "All you ever have is now." Not because the past and future don't exist, but because they all exist together in an eternal now. Time doesn't flow, only consciousness does, illuminating one moment after another in the vast, timeless landscape of existence.